where can we save? So as you see on the screen, we've got a couple different things that pop up here. If I was to ask you the question, where is the safest place that you can put your money? And you've obviously got some visual indicators here on the screen. Where would you say is the safest place to put your money? Okay, I see some people saying gold, bank, mattress, another gold. Okay, so again, we've got a couple different responses here, and I just want to debunk a couple of myths and make sure that you're aware of some of the different aspects of investment vehicles that you can utilize and the risks associated with those. Let's start from the top left and work our way around here. Obviously, if you put money under the mattress, you know, if I've got a safe in my house, or if I just kind of keep cash on hand at home, then, you know, there's some risks there, obviously, that, you know, what if somebody breaks in? What if there's a fire? Or what if, you know, I mean, there's a couple of kind of straightforward risks. The other risk that I would just bring to your attention would be the risk of inflation. And so again, if you think about that, you know, if you're putting your money under the mattress or that to that effect, and you're not getting any interest or you're not getting any growth on that money, then over time, the purchasing power of your dollar is going to go down in value because inflation is at work. Even though that, you know, they tell us right now that, oh, no, inflation really hasn't been in effect for the last couple of years. Well, the reality is, if I go into the grocery store with $100, 5 years ago, I came out with a lot more groceries than I come out with today. And so that, to me, tells me that inflation is alive and kicking. And so we do have to be careful about that when it comes to where are we saving our money. The same phenomenon kind of goes with the banks, because right now in a checking account, and even really in a savings account to some degree, we're getting very little interest on our money. Now, again, the bank is going to be FDIC insured up to $250,000. So, you know, I don't really have the same concerns of a fire at my house or robbery or things like that, what I do about sticking money under the mattress. But I would say, you know, from the standpoint of where should I be putting my emergency savings, my 6 months that we talked about before, I think putting that into a savings account, not a checking account, I would have it separate. And I would also really even have it not linked to my checking account. Maybe it's in a separate bank for my true emergency account. The one that my wife and I use is the Capital One 360 account, which is actually more of a virtual bank. And in that bank account, it takes me 3 days to get the money back over into my checking account. And so people say to me all the time, well, if it's an emergency account, why the heck would you want it to take 3 days? It's an emergency. You need it right now. And we have a little savings account that is our emergency that we use for those kind of things. But for a bulk of our emergency money, we really put that in a separate account that's outside of and away from our normal checking and savings account and our main bank that we use on a day-to-day basis. I want to touch on the top right-hand corner, because I do hear that from people more often than I feel like I should, which is gold is very safe. And you see this a lot of times when the stock market goes down in value, or if people's 401ks start going down, there's always promotions that will pop up about the safety and the protection of investing in gold and how that can be a great investment for the long term, and especially during volatile times. And yes, typically when you see markets go down, the price of gold will go up in value. What you need to be careful of, if you go back a couple of years ago, in 2013, the stock market, U.S. stock market, was up 32% that year, and gold was down 29%. So there can be some pretty dramatic fluctuations in the price of gold. So, you know, it's not that gold is this kind of sure-all. You're gonna see stability in your investment in gold over time. You can lose money there, and you can lose large sums of money based upon kind of where precious metals are and what's going on in the U.S. and world economies. So just be aware and be cautious of that. And again, I think as a portion of your portfolio, maybe, you know, 3 to 5% of somebody's portfolio would be in kind of specific sectors of the market. So sectors like real estate or precious metals or natural gas or commodities or things like that, but really no more than about 5% of my portfolio should be in those kind of investments. And then the bottom right one is, really the long-term retirement vehicle, so Roth 401k, and really putting your money into the market, which I think we're all pretty well aware that the market can go down in value over time. But obviously that's where, of the things that are listed on the screen on that last slide, that's really where we're going to get the best return on our money over longer periods of time, is by investing in a diversified manner into the stock and bond markets.